All right, today we're going to talk about some really interesting quirks inside of the body and how they've been perhaps sabotaging our neck without realizing it. And that is the reflex conditioning between the eyes and the upper cervical spine. Okay, we're going to just go nice and slowly into this. We're going to take a couple of minutes to get into our bodies like usual. Do some easy breathing in a second, and then I'll draw your attention to what I want you to learn for today. Okay, so let's start with the easy breathing, rocking front to back. We're going to practice our self-soothing breathing, going deeper into the body with each exhale. Okay, let's do 10 of these right off the bat. You guys have been here for most of these sessions, so you should be pretty good at this by now. Try to get as quiet as possible by the end. Okay, here we go. Continue breathing as you bring the awareness to the palms of the hands. Feel the hands brushing along the pants. Notice how the shoulders feel gently moving in the sockets. Notice the weight shifting forwards and backwards. Take note of any pain or tensions you feel inside of the body. Continue to focus on the released breathing. Getting lost in the movement and the breathing, releasing the mind and the body with each exhale. Put the mind's eye into the legs, relaxing the inner thighs, relaxing the backs of the legs and the calves. Great, let's do some slow contract relaxing for the shoulders, bringing the shoulder blades up to the ears very slowly. Absolutely no effort. Slowly releasing down with the breath. Two more of those, rising up, absolutely no effort. Slowly down. One more time, rising up, lowering slowly. Good, keep your eyes closed. Place the arms resting on the thighs. Okay, the palms on the thighs, the body relaxed. Now we're going to notice with the eyes closed, bring the mind's eye to the base of the skull in the back of the head. Okay? Keep the attention there throughout this exercise. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our eyes, with the eyes closed, okay, but you're going to control the eyeballs, and you're going to look in all four directions very slowly, okay? First look up very slowly, and back to neutral. Notice what you feel in the back of the neck when you make that movement with the eyes. Look again upwards with the eyes as if trying to see the inside of the skull. Notice how you can perceive a slight tension at the base of the skull. Now look to the left with the eyes closed and see if you can notice how the muscles of the neck try to engage. Try again 2 more times to the left, noticing the back of the neck. You may even notice that your head actually turns slightly with the eyes. Let's look to the right now 3 times. Again, paying close attention to the back of the neck. Good, let's finish this out by looking down. If you pay close attention when you look down, you may feel a release in the back of the neck. One more time looking down. Great. Okay, so these are the movements we're going to look at now. So it's important to understand that when the eyes move, this usually kicks in some reflex in the head, as we want to always follow the eyes around. But for us, this is pretty problematic when we're working on the computer or the phones and things like that, because almost all the time we're looking down. And this starts to draw the head down and forwards without us realizing it. So what I'd like to do now is try to disconnect this reflex in our body. Okay, so we're just going to use simple oppositions. We're going to start with looking up and down. Okay, first isolate the eyes, looking up, and slowly panning the eyes to look down. There should be no movement in the neck or head. Look again upwards, slowly down, slowly up. If you feel the head getting twitchy, this is a good sign that you're starting to separate already. Now let's notice what happens when we actually move the head up and down. Tilting the chin upwards, generally the eyes look upwards with us. As we tilt the head down, the eyes usually look downwards with us. Now focus your gaze on the horizon and pick one point and focus on that throughout this movement. Tilt the chin up while you continue to look at this point. Tilt the head down as you continue to look at this point. You can see how it's easy for the eyes to separate from the neck by using a focus point. Now let's get rid of all the securities and we'll try the complete opposition. Okay? Try to look down with the eyes while you tilt the head upwards. Looking down with the eyes and looking up with the head. Now with the head upwards, draw the eyes upwards also and move the head downwards while the eyes continue to look upwards. When you're at the bottom of the movement, look downwards and draw the head upwards while continuing to look down. At the top of the movement, allow the eyes to look up while you draw the head down. Let's continue this 3 more times. Looking down while the head goes up. Looking up while the head goes down. Looking down while the head goes up. Looking up while the head goes down. One more on your own as you notice how the movement has become smoother and perhaps the head is becoming less confused about where it's going. Great, let's apply that to the rotation now. First, let's start with just the eye movement, looking from side to side with the eyes open. We can notice that slight change in tone in the back of the neck. Now let's use only the head, looking from side to side. Simply notice what the eyes do. Don't try to control them. Great. Now let's add in the opposition. So as we turn our head to the left, your eyes should track to the right. And when you've reached maximum rotation, the eyes will gradually pan over to match the rotation as you then move the head in the other direction. Continue back and forth with the eyes in opposition to the head movement. You may feel that the neck gets stuck or the eyes flicker back and forth, trying to join the head in the rotation. This is a telltale sign that your head is getting dragged around by your eyes all day without you realizing it. Great, let's come back to neutral and notice how the head feels a little bit more balanced after moving like this. Now see if you can easily shift your eye gaze around the room without it being attached to the back of your neck. Likely you've created some freedom for the eyes that used to cause twitches or tug-alongs in the head. Let's continue to develop the separation. Turning the head completely to one side, we'll use the same up and down pattern here. So with the head rotated to one side, you'll look with the eyes downwards while you tilt the head up. And again, bringing the eyes up as you tilt the head down. This is the same exercise we did before, but now we're in a rotated position to try to grab a little bit of extra release. Let's get 5 of these together, moving the eyes and head in opposition. Great. Come back to neutral, and after doing only one side, if you sense your body internally right now, you'll notice that you don't feel as balanced as before. The rotation of the neck to one side has caused a shift in our equilibrium. So let's balance that out by turning to the other side and doing the same eye-head movement opposition. Move very slowly and try to avoid any unnecessary twitching of the eyes or neck. Let's get 2 more of these together. Remember to pan the eyes very slowly down. Don't jump from top to bottom. Great, let's return to neutral and repeat that one more time, up and down in the neutral position. The eyes looking down while the head tilts up, and the eyes looking up as the head tilts down. You should notice that that was easier to achieve than the first time we tried it. Great, let's return to some of our self-soothing breaths and dive deeper into the body again. We'll take another 10 like we did to start the session. Trying to dive as quickly as we can into quietness, emptying the mind, emptying the body, releasing with every exhale. Great. Check in again and notice how you feel calm and relaxed after only 10 of these self-releasing breaths. You may notice that that set was more effective than the first set we did, as we can continue to bring our minds into our body throughout these exercises. Okay, we're going to continue to develop the eye opposition, but we're going to start to involve rotation in the chest also. We'll do this in the seated position using a full rotation, including the chest and head, as if trying to look behind yourself. Great, let's try that a few times with the body moving slowly, and just notice what the eyes do. Easy stretching, very little force. Great. Now let's introduce the eye opposition with that full twist. So as I twist to the left, I'm looking back to the right, all the way around. And when I've made the full rotation, the eyes switch over, and I gradually rotate all the way to the other side, switching the eyes over and twisting through opposition again. Notice how with the bigger rotation, it becomes more confusing for the eyes as we drag them through the field of vision. Remember to keep looking opposite the way you're turning. Great, let's return to neutral and take 5 more of our self-soothing breaths. Again, like a muscle, trying to strengthen this reflex so that we can dive deeply into relaxation. Let the lungs fill with no effort. Letting go of the mind and the body. Great. Now I'd like to bring our attention to our breath. Last time we were together, we worked on making extremely long inhales and exhales. In this case, I would like to focus on making faster and shorter exhales to develop the panting inside of the body. Let's start rhythmically breathing out at an easy pace. I'll try to use my arms to demonstrate it first. As we build up the speed, we'll start to double the effort each time. Okay, let's follow along now. Breathing in for 1 and out. Try to feel the air moving effortlessly in and out of the body, through the nose preferably. You don't need to move a lot of air. In fact, it's better to move very little air, taking a small breath in, tiny breath out, small breath in, small breath out, tiny breath in, tiny breath out. Now we're going to start to double the speed. If we were breathing in, out, and we're going to double this and breathe in, out, in, out. Good, take a long exhale and rest with no air. If you notice the nose starting to burn, this is okay. This is why we're going to take these long periods of breath holding before we then double the effort again. Rest with no air, breathing minimally. Here, let's throw in a few sets of head and eye opposition. Looking to the left while the eyes scan to the right, scanning to the right while the eyes look to the left. Let's get 2 more on each side before we return to our breath buildup. Great. So we left off in, out, in, out. Let's pick that up again and then double that again. Breathing like this. Now doubling. Taking one long big inhale and all the way out to neutral. Let the lungs rest. At this point, notice your internal state. You may feel a little bit tingly or funny in the legs after breathing heavily like this. This is a good sign that we're hyperventilating, which is our goal right now. Let's throw in a couple more of those eye-head movements while we recover our oxygen balance. Breathing minimally, look down with the eyes while you draw the head upwards, and look up with the eyes as you draw the head downwards. Looking down as you draw upwards. And one more in opposition. Great, let's continue to develop the breath to a more aggressive point. Breathing in, out, in, out. Great, let's double the effort. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. Resting at our equilibrium. Close the eyes and notice how the eyes seem bright with lights, almost like you're seeing spots. This is actually a sign of slight hypoxia in the brain as we short the brain of oxygen. Remember, what we're doing now is the opposite of Buteyko breathing. Buteyko relies on shortening the breath and holding the breath to boost CO2, releasing extra oxygen into the tissues. As we blow off all of our CO2 and increase the oxygen balance, we become lightheaded and see spotty movements. By now, with easy breathing, you should have recovered back to your close to baseline. You may still see a fog in the eyes. This is okay for now. Let's do another round of aggressive breathing. Okay. Keep breathing aggressively while I give you further instructions. At the end of this round, we'll take one big inhale like we did, and then exhale. This time we'll sit at the bottom and rest with no air for as long as possible. Okay, breathing all the way in now together. Releasing the air, back to neutral. Sit with no air, do not breathe. Stay with no air if you can right now. Notice how you don't feel the urge to breathe in. You may feel tingles inside of the body. This is a good sign. When you need to, you can resume normal breathing. Great. Let's revisit and round off the session by securing what we worked on at the beginning with our head and eye movements. Close the eyes again now in neutral and pan the eyes left to right. Notice if you still feel the same strong response in the back of the neck. Try up and down. You should still feel some slight tone change in the back of the neck, but hopefully less than before. Now let's review all four directions, looking down as the eyes track up, looking up as the eyes track down. Moving through opposition 3 times in the up-down direction. Great. Now let's review the rotation, looking to the left with the head and the eyes in opposition to the right. Tracking across in opposition. Notice how smoothly you can move the eyes at this point. Great.